Well, as you all probably kind of see here, things are kind of a mess. And I just wanted to kind of get on here on Christmas Day, first of all, to wish you all a Merry Christmas Day. And I had kind of planned all along that I was going to go live today, just to let you all know a few things. And there's going to be a few videos that are going to be showing up over the next few days. Can't remember for sure whether I put one up for next Wednesday, which is New Year's Day, or not, but tomorrow through Christmas Eve, there's going to be some videos showing up on here that have been pre-made, and you're going to notice towards the end there's one that has songs out of the Revelation in it. And since the Revelation was written close to the end of the first century, I've always considered it a good book to end the year with. And I just wanted to kind of get on here to say a few things. And I've kind of mentioned this on Instagram Live and on Facebook, but do want to tell you all about the cardinal ornaments, what ended up happening with them that was going to be a surprise. They ended up going out as a Christmas gift to all my coworkers. So I didn't know whether any of my coworkers might have been subscribed to this channel or watching any of the videos. So I didn't want to share it just yet, but do have that much to say. I'd like to mention I got a few new good Christmas presents. I got a shipping scale. That was something I knew I needed. I got a wristband that you can kind of put your phone up to, and it'll give you my business link. That is just one of those things. And I also got a new carving apron that has a little pouch on it. That was something that Charles Womack of Womack's Wood Carving suggested to me that I get, and it's going to be good. I do want to tell you all how progress is coming along on the basement. The floor has already been made, as I've said, but they have also just brought in a lot of boxes off a couple of the pods and moved some of the pods out, and we've got a lot of stuff left that we don't have room for in the basement just yet. So we still have one pod out there that still has some stuff on it. I do know if you all kind of kept up with some of my other posts, other social media accounts, I felt like it was getting kind of old to me that I didn't have my carving tools and stuff because they were on the pod and things. But it just turned out that, yesterday I decided I'd do a little progress, and there's going to come a time maybe in 2025 when I'm going to be posting some of my exotic woods that never sold onto Facebook Marketplace and be trying to sell them on there. So that is something that you all can kind of look into when the time comes. If you live anywhere locally, I will be selling them for a local pickup if you'd like to get them. And that is just one of those things where I decided yesterday I would go down into the shop and start separating wood that I wanted to keep from wood that I needed to sell, and put the pieces to sell into a certain box where they are going to be, and to start taking pictures and advertising them when the time comes. I have a turning lathe down there that I never use, so that is going to be sold. There are some things I'm looking into on the internet, like a duplicarver maybe, that might even help me to keep enough made of the things that sell the most, the things that sell out the best. Doing all that work carving by hand, it can be kind of difficult to keep enough made for everybody. And it's going to be a good to kind of have that work. And if you want to look up what a duplicarver is, or a carving duplicator, you'll kind of see how it works, how there's a little wand you move around on one side, and on the other side there's a router. And you move the wand along the completely carved thing, and the router moves along the blank, making it about the same shape. So that's kind of just one of those things I'm kind of beginning to look into and can't really wait to order it and get it into my shop. And do want to mention for also that as I was going through my boxes yesterday to find wood to set aside to sell, I also saw my carving bag down in one of the boxes. You may have heard the story about how a Saturday or so ago, my father and I got out on the pod to kind of go, I'd say, looking through boxes to see if we could find my carving bag and blanks and tools because I felt like not being able to carve was just getting old. So I was kind of willing to do it. I didn't realize that they were in boxes we had already brought in until I went through them yesterday. And sure enough, in one of the boxes I was going through to separate wood, I did find my carving bag and my tools. And in some of the other boxes, I found these little tub containers in which I have stored and separated the different blanks that I use. And one thing I'd like to mention last of all is this. Now, I believe that according to my Bible, I shouldn't let my left hand know what my right hand is doing when I do things like this, but would like to tell you how it was years ago from probably about 2000 to maybe 2003, 2004, back when I used to make those scroll saw ornaments long before I started carving. And the fact that, there'd come a time of year when somebody would be right outside of Kroger down the street ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, and I'd drop them off a basket with those ornaments in it. And, that would be for the Salvation Army. There was a certain particular year I got a thank you card from them for it. And I will say that there came a time probably about 04, 05 when I started kind of moving over to, just making copies of CDs and cassette tapes I recorded of music and started donating big boxes full of those to the Salvation Army, mainly with the intention of maybe going one to each department, kind of like what I did in the hospital where I used to work at the time. But things have kind of like, I'd say, just changed a little bit since those days, and things kind of are a little bit different. And I decided today I wanted to go back to doing what I used to do, not today, but I'd say a couple days ago, the day before Christmas Eve, and put together a little basket of little ornaments I made that didn't sell, and a lot of little gingerbread men that I made out of brown socks that didn't sell, put tags on everything to tell you what it was, and drove down to the Kroger, noticed that nobody was there to be out there ringing the bell for the Salvation Army, went to Walmart and noticed the same thing. So I took out my phone, opened my Google Maps, and decided to open it up to the Salvation Army. And from where I was a little bit closer to Nicholasville than I was to downtown Lexington. That's the part of town I live in. So I did see that there was a service center in Nicholasville I could drive it down to. And it just so happened that I knew that to go to the place in downtown Lexington down on Main Street, it would just be a lot of trouble to get through all the traffic and find your way out of it. So I didn't really bother to do that. Just drove out to the service center in Nicholasville, saw the young lady there. It was probably about 10:30 in the morning when I arrived, and told her, I said, I don't know what they're doing in Nicholasville, but I first of all asked her if I could drop that off there. She said it was okay. So told her that I didn't know whether they were out ringing the bells today, at least at the ones in Lexington, they weren't. And she said they're on the way to the locations right now. They start out at 11 o'clock. So I'd say I kind of arrived a little early for that. And then I kind of would say that I went over to Mercantile Coffee and Feed there in Nicholasville, a little coffee shop that I would probably often go to in the summertime when I didn't have to work a lot. But it's kind of different when you have the kind of work schedule that I do, where you just kind of, you know, work Monday through Friday during the day. And so that was how that worked out for the best. And I went in there where I recorded my little Instagram live to tell people about the things I just did. Sometimes I even share with people about how that I have stuff that doesn't get sold that I donate over to military missions over on Clays Mill Road, and they resell it to make money to send off the packages to the troops overseas. And that's just a good way I have of supporting the troops in my life. And I tell y'all one thing for sure is that the holidays are a good time to think about these people, both the homeless and the troops and all the people in need. And I believe that according to my Bible, we really, really, really should do it year round. It's always good to kind of help people year round in the best ways we can. And that's kind of what I like to do. I mean, and I appreciate anybody who does. And, businesses are supposed to give to charities. So that's just something I try to do just to try to help people out. And if people don't want to buy something to support me, I always try to make a way that they can do it for a charity so that maybe somebody gets something off of all the work I put into a piece. So I want to thank you all very much for tuning in. It doesn't look like anybody's watching, and that's understandable because it is Christmas Day and not many people would be online, but I'm pretty sure that it is probably going to show up in your notifications that I recorded this video, or show up on your homepage or whatever, and you're going to see it, and you're probably going to watch it after it's been recorded and finalized. So I just want to say to you all, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And if I can figure out here, okay, yeah, I see it. Thank you all very much. Goodbye.